Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Music Beat Central podcast. I'm your host, Hanan Yudiano, and thank you so much for joining me for another episode. Whether you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast platform, truly appreciate your support. Before we get started, I'd like to thank everyone who tuned into episode 2, The Rise of Independent Artists. In that episode, we explored how musicians are building successful careers outside of traditional record label systems, and we highlighted some fantastic artists, including Flexi R7, Young Lava Kid, and Australian singer-songwriter JD Smith. If you haven't listened to episode 2 yet, be sure to check it out after today's show. And I'd just like to thank Flexi R7 and JD Smith for reaching out to say thank you for being featured in episode 2. And thank you so much for listening. I truly, truly appreciate it. Now, for episode 3, we're diving into a topic that affects almost every artist and every fan around the world. Today, we're talking about how social media is changing the music industry, from TikTok trends and Instagram reels to YouTube discoveries and Spotify playlists. Social media has completely transformed the way we discover, share, and experience music. But is that a good thing? Has it made music more accessible? Has it changed the way artists become successful? And are we listening to music differently than previous generations? Let's find out. Let's start by winding back the clock. Before social media existed, discovering music was very different. Most people discovered artists through radio stations, television programs like MTV, music magazines, newspapers, or recommendations from friends and family. If a record label wasn't promoting an artist, it was incredibly difficult for them to reach a wider audience. Think about it. If you wanted people to hear your music in the 1990s or early 2000s, you needed radio support, television appearances, or a major label backing you. Today, anyone can upload a song and potentially reach millions of listeners. That's an incredible shift. So, how music discovery has changed forever. Let's do a quick experiment. Think about how you discovered music growing up. Maybe you bought CDs. Maybe you listened to the radio. Maybe you waited for a music countdown show every weekend. So, I'm going to do a bit of this experiment myself to show you guys. So, I have with me a few CDs. Some of them are signed and some of them are not. But these are some of the few of the hundreds of CDs that I have from over the years. First one I have here, just to do that, is Human Nature. This was released, I think it was in 2000. I had the luck of seeing them live. They did an in-store, so I had it signed. Then we have Darren Hayes. This one is one of my favorite albums. It's called This Delicate Thing We've Made. So I don't know if you can see it, but you probably be able to get the gist of what I have here. Then we have JD Smith, the artist that I spoke about in episode 2. So this is one of his albums. This one is a signed album. So thank you, James, for signing that for me. Then we've got Jessica Mauboy, another signed album. This one was also at an in-store back in 2009. Lovely, lovely person. She's really down to earth. Absolutely amazing as well. And then after the cassette that I had of Tina Arena, I then later on bought her CD album of Tenors. So yeah, I grew up with cassettes, then with CDs, and then with radio. When Today FM was good at one point, I don't listen to that radio station anymore because I don't think it's great as it used to be. But at the time, it was my go-to, one of my radio stations that I would listen to. Then also 106.5 FM as well. That one I don't listen to as I used to as well. I think it really changed. really became very commercialized. And it's just, yeah, just don't listen to it anymore. My go-to though, I listen to Smooth FM 95.3. That one has like all these old school music on there and sometimes new music, but it's artists that I grew up with. So I guess that's why I love listening to that radio station. I'm not doing any promoting. It's just talking about what I grew up with and still listen to. And then with music programs, I would watch MTV, Rage, Video Hits. Yeah, the few music programs that I used to watch every weekend, and then started to go during the week. So like before school or before college, I would watch um, any music program to start my morning before I left to go for the day. But I unfortunately don't do that anymore. I think it's more like I discover musicians through YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, um, Spotify, any platforms really. So yeah, that's my childhood to young adulthood to now. So you're scrolling through Instagram, you're watching TikTok, you're browsing Spotify playlists, you're watching YouTube shorts. Without even trying, you're constantly discovering new music. The journey between artist and listener has never been shorter. Music is literally everywhere. And that's one of the biggest reasons social media has become such a powerful force in the industry. Power of viral music. One of the biggest changes social media has introduced is viral music. Songs can now become global hits almost overnight. A great example is Chappelle Roan or Roan. For years, she worked hard building her audience, releasing music and performing live. Then social media helped introduce her music to millions of new listeners, turning her into one of the biggest breakout artists in recent years. Another example is Benson Boone. Many fans first discovered him through social media clips that showcased his incredible voice and emotional performances. Today, he's one of the fastest rising artists in the world. Here's something interesting. Have you ever heard a song online, started singing it days later, and then realized you don't even know who the artist is? That happens all the time now. It's happened to me. The song often becomes famous before the artist. That's completely different from how the music industry used to work. Love it or hate it, TikTok has become one of the most influential music platforms in the world. One artist who benefited enormously is Steven Sanchez. His song Until I Found You became hugely popular through social media and introduced him to audiences around the globe. Another artist is Gail. Her song ABCDEFU exploded online and quickly became an international hit. Remember when that song came out? I don't know how it became so catchy in my head, but I couldn't get it out of my head for days. Did that ever happen to you guys? Let me know in the comment section. TikTok doesn't just create new stars. It also introduces young audiences to older songs. Songs released decades ago regularly find new life through viral videos. A single trend can completely change an artist's career. That's extraordinary when you think about it. Instagram has become one of the most important tools for artists. So my next segment is Instagram and artist branding. It's no longer just about promoting music. It's about building a brand. Dua Lipa is a great example. She combines music, fashion, travel, and behind the scenes content to create a complete artist experience for fans. Another artist who uses social media brilliantly is Lewis Capaldi. People love his humor and authenticity. He's not afraid to laugh at himself, and fans connect with that. Social media allows artists to show the human side of their careers. Fans don't just follow songs anymore, they follow personalities and stories. YouTube and music discovery. YouTube remains one of the most important platforms in music. Many artists have built careers through the platform. Madison Beer first gained attention online through videos showcasing her voice. Charlie Puth also built a following through YouTube before becoming an international star. Today, artists are using YouTube for music videos, acoustic performances, interviews, live streams, and behind the scenes content. It offers something unique. It allows fans to experience more than just the music. It helps create a deeper connection between artist and audience. While social media creates opportunities, it also creates challenges. Artists today aren't just musicians, they're content creators, marketers, photographers, video editors, business owners. That's a lot of pressure. Many artists have spoken about feeling overwhelmed by the need to constantly create content. Sometimes musicians spend almost as much time promoting music as they do making it. So here's a question. Has social media made success easier, or has it simply created different challenges? I'd love to know your thoughts. So I guess I'll start. So has social media made success easier? Yes and no. Yes, because artists can promote their music content. They can do basically whatever they want on all social media platforms, and people will watch it. So it gets more, they get more exposure. Sorry. With the no, this goes for the next question. Has it simply created different challenges? I would say yes, because artists are competing with other artists. They're trying to obviously get the music out there. They're trying to get hers, they're trying to get exposure, and hopefully not just being as an independent artist, but to hopefully be signed by a major label. And that's the competition, you know? So I would say that would be one of the challenges. The other challenge would be also is that even if they have it all over social media, their music, you know, trying to get it out there, the difficult part is to get the listeners and fans to buy their music. That would be one of the challenges. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and I'd love to hear your answer. Streaming and platform playlist culture. Okay. So let's talk about Spotify and streaming platforms. Many artists now build careers through playlists rather than radio stations. A great example is Noah Khan. His music gained enormous momentum through streaming and online sharing. Another example is Teddy Swims. His incredible voice and online presence helped him build a loyal audience before becoming a mainstream success. For many artists today, getting added to a popular playlist can be career changing. In many ways, playlists have become the modern version of radio. And I agree, because me not listening to radio anymore, except for from time to time, Smooth FM, I just listen to different playlists all the time. So like if I wanted to listen to, I don't know, 90s slow jam R&B, for example, on YouTube, they have all the different artists that I like into one. And sometimes I discover new artists in that process. Then, you know, if I wanted to look up a playlist, you know, chill sounds playlist to start the morning, for example, you know, I can find a playlist on that. And that's my version, I guess, of radio. I think it's your version of radio when you listen to playlists. I think it's better. I think it's better the playlist as a radio than listening to the radio. The only difference is that you don't hear anyone talking while you're listening to the playlist, where it's just the music. Australian artists making waves. That's the next segment. Australia continues to produce incredible talent. Peach PRC has built a large following through social media while staying true to her unique style and personality. Another exciting artist is Gujira. I hope I'm saying that right, and I apologize for butchering his name. His powerful voice and songwriting have earned him recognition both in Australia and internationally. Artists like these show that social media can help talented musicians connect with audiences no matter where they live. And now I'm going to introduce my new segment that I did in episode 2, Artist Spotlight. So we're breaking into just this, and then I'll be back into the podcast again. One of my favorite parts of Music Beat Central is shining a spotlight on artists making an impact in the music world. Toni Childs is an internationally acclaimed singer-songwriter known for songs such as Don't Walk Away, I've Got to Go Now, Stop Your Fussin', and House of Hope. Just to go back a bit, when I hear Don't Walk Away, if you know the artist, it's like I can hear her voice in my head when that title, Don't Walk Away. I could just literally, every time I say it, I hear her voice. And that song, I've Got to Go Now, I hear her voice again in my head. But does that happen to you guys? Like when you read out loud the song title of your favorite artist, you just hear their voice? Let me know. Let me know in the comment section. Australian fans can watch Toni Childs live in August 2026 with performances in Queensland and New South Wales. A Toni Childs concert is more than a live show. It's a journey through her remarkable career and stories behind her music. Next up is Mark Vincent. Mark Vincent first came to national attention after winning Australia's Got Talent at just 15 years old. Since then, he has become one of Australia's most successful classical crossover performers. Sorry, that was a tongue twister. He is currently touring Australia with his acclaimed Amoré show, accompanied by the Australian Symphony Orchestra. Just an FYI, I remember seeing Mark Vincent in a musical called Dirty Dancing. And he did his part, the famous part that Bill Medley that he did in Dirty Dancing movie. And his voice, oh my God, like amazing, like really good. Yeah, you just have to hear him live. He's just such a one of a kind artist that you have to see live. And if you haven't, go see him in concert in his Amore show. And also he's going to be in the one night only show, the José Carreras and Friends, which is next I'm going to talk about. José Carreras is one of the greatest tenors in history and is widely known as one of the 3 tenors alongside Luciano Pavarotti and Placido Domingo. Australian audiences will have the rare opportunity to see him perform at Carreras and Friends at the Gabba in Brisbane on the 5th of December 2026. For classical music fans, this is a truly special event. This one will have Mark Vincent, Kate Sobrano, Darren Hayes, many more. So go check it out. I'd also like to give a shout out to Flexi R7, Young Lava Kid, and JD Smith. So this is just another shout out from the previous episode. These artists continue building their careers through dedication, creativity, and direct engagement with fans. Supporting independent artists through streams, follows, shares, and live shows helps keep the music industry thriving. Now back to the episode. Are we listening to music differently? Here's an interesting question, everyone. Are we actually listening to music differently than previous generations? Many people now listen through playlists rather than full albums. Songs often have just a few seconds to grab our attention before we move on. Some people believe social media has shortened attention spans. Others argue we are discovering more music than ever before. Personally, I think both can be true. We have access to more music than any generation before us, but we also consume it much faster. What do you think? So just to go back to the question, are we listening to music differently? I think so. I mean, before social media, we had, the radio and TV, and then purchasing the hard copies like of CDs, cassettes, then DVDs of the concerts that you like as well. Now you can just download, the album or a playlist with your favorite song in it on Spotify, on YouTube Music, on Amazon, on iHeartRadio. I mean, the choices are endless for us. Um, it really has expanded over the years comparing to my generation and generation before me, the generation after us. Um, I'd say you guys are the lucky ones on that one. So, my next segment is the future of music. So, looking ahead, technology will continue shaping music. We'll see new social platforms, virtual concerts, AI powered experiences, new ways for artists and fans to connect. But no matter how much technology changes, one thing remains constant. Great songs still matter. Technology can help people discover music, but it's the music itself that keeps listeners coming back. And that is very true. I just wanted to get a little off topic, like I usually do. Anyone who knows me, that happens a lot. But when I have something else to say, I will say it. Okay, so I was thinking when I go to a shopping center, you listen to all sorts of music, right? It's always played in supermarkets, in department stores, in any shop, cafes, restaurants, you name it. Has it occurred to you guys, like, especially in the supermarket, and I've heard this before, that when they play music in supermarkets, for example, I listen to, like, for example, I'm in Coles, and they play old school music, songs I grew up. It somehow gets me to stay longer. Is it a marketing thing? I think so. I'm thinking that because they do it on purpose. They play certain music, rather it's slow music, not really upbeat music. Have you guys noticed that? In supermarkets, they don't play really upbeat music. I mean, they do, but then a lot of them are a bit slow. What do you guys think? Hmm. Maybe that's another segment to talk about music in shopping centers and in shops. But I also want to talk about too about AI music, how that's changed so much. Like I was listening to a few different types of songs. I'm like, oh my God, they sound amazing. But then when you look at the video, sorry, you can tell like it's not real. You can tell it's all AI generated. Even the songs are AI generated. I mean, anyone can be a musician, and that's the scary part. And that also affects all the artists out there who legitimately sing and, you know, want to make a career out of music, while other people are making a lot more money with AI music and releasing it supposedly as the artist themselves when they're not the artist. It's just AI generated. It's cool, but it's not great at the same time. Because again, it's taking over and that's a scary, scary situation. Anyway, I know. Like I said, I do go off topic and that does happen. And you'll get to know me a lot more in the coming episodes where that will happen from time to time. So just warning you right now. All right, guys. And that brings us to the end of episode 3 of the Music Beat Central podcast. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the show. I'd love to hear your thoughts. How do you discover new music? Has social media changed your listening habits? Let me know on Facebook and Instagram and also on YouTube. So I've got a YouTube channel too. So I will post all the links to all my social media platforms and streaming platforms below. Don't forget to follow Music Beat Central for all things music, including artist spotlights, music news, reviews, interviews, and future podcast episodes. I'm Hanan Yuliano. Until next time, keep discovering new music, supporting artists, and keeping music playing. I survived. I survived my first video podcast. I thought, no, I'm not going to do it. but I did and I survived. And I thank my amazing husband for encouraging me to do this video podcast. So I was quite nervous to do it, doing a face to face, where you guys see my face instead of behind the computer, like behind the screen, not seeing my face and just hearing my voice. So um, thank you guys for your support, and I appreciate your love as well. So take care, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Much love and ciao for now.